Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria if you are new, and today is day 2 of 31 days of Halloween. I'm so excited for today. It is my favorite villain of all time, Ursula from The Little Mermaid. We are doing the classic animated version, although I absolutely loved the new live action version. I thought it was so good. Halle Bailey really is Ariel. Alright, so let's get started. So first things first, eyebrows gotta go. I'm going to be using spirit gum to block out my eyebrows. You can definitely use a glue stick, but if your eyebrows are very thick and unruly like mine are, I recommend spirit gum. With the glue stick, I have to do like 3 or 4 layers. With spirit gum, I'm pretty much one and done. Sometimes I'll add a second layer if my eyebrows are being stubborn. If you do try spirit gum, make sure you have spirit gum remover because it is very hard to remove without it. For my base, I'm going to be using the Maron Paradise Makeup AQ palette, and she isn't just purple. So what we're going to do is combine this lighter purple here, white, and a tiny bit of gray because she does have a very gray dullness to her purple skin color. And these are water activated, so I just have my water bottle. I dip my brush in and mix my colors. So I take this on a brush and I'm going to just press that onto my eyebrows. Okay, so I feel like this is a little bit too purple, so as I'm doing my base, I'm going to be adding a little bit more white and perhaps a little bit more gray. Forgot to do this before my eyebrows, but I am priming with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray and a little bit of the Milk Pore Eclipse mattifying primer in my T-zone, a little under my eyes also. And I'm just using a bigger brush to kind of cover more area at a time. And I put a lot of water, so it's going on very sheer, and I'm gonna build it up. Didn't really do that with my eyebrows because I wanted as much coverage as possible all at once. And I'm not gonna take this on my eyebrow hairs just because I don't want the wetness from the brush to disturb that paint I already laid. And take my sponge. Now I'm going to start building it up, a little bit less water, and I'm going to work in sections. This time I am going back over my brows, so the colors will kind of blend in together a little bit more. I did add more white and gray. And I've just accepted that I will always be getting paint in my hair. I'm not going to even try to not have paint in my hair. I'm also going to get my ears because I'm going to do a full body, well, not a full body, but a full upper body. As I'm applying it, I'm trying to make it look as smooth as possible. I will go back in with the sponge, but there's always a possibility of it lifting when I go back in with my sponge. So I want it to be as smooth as possible before I do that. Now I'm going to do what would be like the highlights of the face. So the under eyes, the chin, the forehead, kind of just highlighting my face, and then we'll do contour. So for the highlights, I'm going to do mostly white with a touch of the gray paint. And I'm doing one section at a time because it does dry pretty quickly. Going back in with that white and a tad bit of gray. And it's not very wet, it's kind of dry. And I'm just going to press that on and then let it dry for like a few seconds before I start going back in with my sponge. And I think for like the contour, I'm going to use eyeshadow. I'm not going to go in with the paint. I feel like it'd be just a little too hard to blend. But I do need to highlight my nose before I go in with the contour. And for highlight on my nose, I'm going to use this LA Girl Pastel Dream eyeliner. And I do want it to be pretty sharp, so it's small for precision. I'm just tapping that in with my finger. I'm just going to go over that with my sponge. Okay, and to contour, I'm going to be using my Blends palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I've been loving this palette so much. I got it specifically for 31 Days of Halloween, and I'm upset that I didn't get it sooner because it's so good. So I'm going to use this darkest purple in here and maybe go into a little bit of gray as well. So these two here. And there are the shades Intuition, which is the gray, and Bewitched, which is the purple. I'm going to use a small contour brush, just barely tap into that Bewitched purple shade. These are very pigmented, so definitely be careful. And I'm going to start pretty high on my cheekbone, slowly start to work it down, and start to slowly blend it onto my cheek. I'm going this way because I want it to be very rounded of a cheek. I'm going to take a little bit of that Intuition gray, same brush. I'm just going to go right on top. Kind of tones down that purple and makes it look more of a shadow. So we get a nice purple, dark purple gray to a lighter gray here. And I have my sponge on standby in case I go a little crazy. I can always just kind of tone it down. Now with a smaller brush, this looks like a smaller angled brush, I'm going to go on my chin and underneath my jawline. I do want some definition there. I don't want to slim it down too much. She has a very round chin, so I'm kind of breaking it up just slightly. It's not necessarily going to be a 100% accurate Ursula. I'm going to kind of have my own twist on it. But I do want it to be clear that we are looking at Ursula. Now taking a smaller brush, this is the Blending E25 brush from Sigma. And lightly tap into that dark purple. And we're going to do the nose. And I'm just going right on the sides of where I put that highlight. And I'm just going straight up for now. I'm going to kind of connect it to like the brows and go underneath the brows once I draw on the brows. And here I'm going to take it on the sides of my nose also. And the coast. Now we're going to go back in with gray. Go back over with my sponge just to soften it all up. Take the tiniest bit of gray and I'm just going to lightly lift the cheek here, just a bit more round. Basically just going all around the perimeter of my face. Sponge. And now I'm going to set my face and I'm going to use the Maron setting powder in Ultra White and just a powder puff. Doesn't really need to be set because it does dry down, but I really want to also bake my nose and my cheeks just so they're very defined. Mostly just all the parts that are like highlighted. The setting powder is very intense and it'll kind of stick around and it definitely makes anything lighter. Now I'm going to start to dust it off. This is a setting powder that you don't need to leave a long time to bake. It's basically like once you put it on, it's baked. Now I'm going to take the shade Giggle from the Blends palette, which is this lighter like lavender purple. Just right on my cheeks up to my temple. Also brings back a little bit of color because that setting powder is so intense. A bit on my forehead. This is just a warning, but if you're going to use these paints, make sure your face is moisturized beforehand. My cheeks get pretty dry and they're looking a little patchy. I'm not gonna worry about blending this out just right now. I kind of like that sharp look. We're just gonna leave that. I think I do want to define my nostrils a little bit. So I'm just gonna take the gray and just lightly go on the sides. Okay, now we're gonna move on to eyebrows. To map out my brows, I'm going to use my Anastasia Brow Wiz. And we do want her like angrier brows, like her devious brows. So they're gonna curve a little bit here on the inner part and then go up. I don't want them to be too angry or I don't want them to go down too far here. You definitely can if you want a more true animated look. But I think I'm gonna start mine like right where my natural eyebrow begins. And I'm just going very lightly in case I want to change anything. I want them to curve just right before my natural eyebrow arches. I've always used that brush that I used for my concealer areas, my highlight areas, to kind of just buff away anything that I don't want. I think I want them to curve a little bit further down, so I'm just gonna buff out the arch. And then arch, I think I'll arch them right where my natural eyebrow arches. And I'm just now thinking I want to change this part. See, this is why we map them out, so we can figure out how I want them. Actually want the curve to be a little bit higher here. Not so close to the bridge of my nose. Curve them right here. It's kind of like where my natural eyebrows are pinched when I pinch my brows. Just right above that. It's definitely a lot of playing around just to kind of see what you like, the kind of vibe you're going for. I want mine to go a little bit more towards my temple rather than down. Okay, I think I finally got them how I want to. I kind of messed around with them a bit. And I want to take a liner brush and some of the black in the palette, in the Maron palette. Be very careful. Now, I want to add just a tiny bit of shading right above the eyebrow, just to kind of give them some dimension. So I'm going to take that Intuition gray shade, taking just the tiniest touch of purple, and then lightly going over with my sponge, just to soften it. Now I'm going to take a bit of Cream and Sugar, which is the white eyeshadow in that palette. And just right above that shading. Alright, now we're going to do the eyes where everything is going to start to make sense. Okay, I feel like it's only fitting that we do like a black and blue cut crease. I saw somebody do like a spotlight halo type of eye for Ursula, and I think I really like that. I'm gonna actually just mention the creator now. Let's see, it was Ellis Atlantis, because I want to make sure I am getting credit for inspiration. Okay, I'm gonna be using these eye paints from About Face. This is the dark blue one. This is the shade Lost Unfound, and then the black one is called Art of Darkness. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the black. I'm gonna take just a tiny amount on the outer corner of my eye. I'm gonna pat that in, lightly buffing it up and out. And I'm actually gonna take this purple shade here, which is the shade Signs, and I'm gonna use that to soften the edges of the black. So starting on top of the black and just slightly moving towards the edge. Grabbing a tiny bit of that Nevermore shade just to blend in with the purple, because once those eye paints dry, they're pretty hard to move. So I'm just taking some of the black shadow to kind of compensate. I'm gonna take a tiny amount of the outer darkness. I'm not gonna go in the inner corner, just right on the beginning of my lid. I'm gonna use a more precise brush to blend that out because I don't want to move it too far into the inner corner. Gonna grab a little bit of that purple, just blend it right on top of that. Now I'm gonna connect that purple in the middle and right on top, just right here. I'm going to cut this, but I want that purple to kind of just be a transition shade because we are going to go in with blue. Tiny bit of micellar water on a round flat concealer brush. So first I'm going to take the shade Chance from the Blends palette, and I'm just going to blend this right on top of the black towards the center of the lid. I'm actually just going to use this instead of the About Face, the blue one, just because this is basically the same shade and I just have a tiny bit more control. Now I haven't really needed to prime this far, but I will just for the center because I am going to use a shimmer. I'm going to use the Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer, the Sweet Oasis Morphe palette, this one here, no, this one here. And I'm just going to use my finger to press this in the center. Using a more precise brush to get in the crease. Going back in with that blue Chance shade from the Blends palette, blending those two edges. And it also makes that shimmer look more sea blue, which is so pretty. I'm loving this actually. Now I'm gonna go back in with that darker purple and go from the nose into the eye look. I was waiting for the eye look to finish this part. Kind of have to press it onto the eyebrow hairs for it to kind of stick then to the nose. I'm actually kind of obsessed with this eyeshadow. Oh my god. It literally looks like the ocean. That wasn't the plan going in, but I'm not mad. Now I'm taking a bit of this lighter purple, it's the shade Giggle. I'm just using that to buff out any harsh edges up here towards the brow and the outer corner. For the lower lash line, I'm going to kind of follow what I have on top. Take a tiny bit of the About Face eye paint, and I mean tiny amount. Just right here. I'd always have to like hold my mirror in my hands, so I find I'm like always looking down. I have to remember to look up because the camera is there. Now a tiny bit of black eyeshadow, just right on top and buffing it out. Little dot of eye primer right in the center, going in with that blue Chance shade. I'm just going to connect the two black sections. Now smaller brush, taking that Reef Dive shimmer. Actually, what we'll do is we'll take a tiny bit of Signs, which is that purple, and just take it all along underneath the lower lash line. I'm going to take a little bit of Giggle, just that lavender, light purple, just right on top. Now I'm going to use the About Face to create a winged liner, using the same brush that I used for my eyebrows. I'm just starting it in the center. And I want it to go pretty far this way. I'm going to take my NYX Epic Ink liner to just sharpen it up a bit. I could have just used this to begin with. I also feel like the About Face is just a little bit darker, or it's like less shiny when it dries. I want to add a little inner corner liner as well. I am using my Epic Ink liner for that. Okay, and white liner in the waterline. I'm using the LA Girl liner that I used to highlight my nose. Okay, I think all that's really left besides my body is the lips. and the lashes. Okay, before I do the lip, I'm going to add her little mole. And I think I'm just going to do it on this side. And I'm just using that about face. And I forgot I want some shading under my bottom lip. So going back in with that Bewitched purple and Intuition gray. And I kind of just mix both of them. And I'm gonna go straight out rather than follow the curve of my lip. The bottom lip's a bit more square, so that's kind of why I'm doing that. I'm gonna use a dark berry liner to line my lips first, and then we'll go in with red. This is the shade Very Berry, and it's from Beauties, their lip contour. I am gonna overline my lips because she does have big lips. And I'm going to go a little straight on the bottom and then curve up. She does have a very prominent Cupid's bow. I'm just gonna bring that in a little bit. Honestly, I kind of like this shade of red for her, but we are gonna add some like red, true red in the middle. But first, taking my trusty concealer brush, lightly going along the edge here, just on the bottom lip. I am gonna lightly extend the upper lip, just on the outer corners. Okay, so for the red center, I'm gonna be using the Danessa Myricks Color Fix. I've been loving this. I only have one, but I want to get more because it's so good. So I'm just gonna put some directly on my lips. Okay, so now I'm gonna add lashes. First, curling and mascara. I'm so excited about this look. I love Ursula so much. I think I have a lot of favorite Disney villains. She's definitely number one, but I think when I'm picking favorites of a Disney villain, it usually has to do with their songs. And Poor Unfortunate Souls has to be one of the greatest Disney songs ever. And I use these that I got from Amazon. I'm just gonna reassess. I think I want to make the tip of my nose look a little bit sharper. Just bringing down this shadow here. Give my nose a really sharp look. Now I'm gonna highlight my face. And I'm gonna use this classic palette, the Nicole Guerrero from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I'm gonna use the Forever Lit shade, which is like a white. A little brush for my nose. Brow bone, of course. Now I'm gonna do my body. I'm gonna do some body painting. I'm gonna do my arms too. And I have like a little lid that I'm just using to dip my brushes in. All right, same deal, purple, gray, and white. I'm gonna use a foundation brush. This one is from It Cosmetics. And I'm just gonna be pretty messy with it to start. Use quite a bit of water so it's very thin, very viscous right now. I truly salute the makeup artists that draw a masterpiece on their chests. I don't know how you do it, just like looking in a mirror. That's insane. I would like to attempt that one day, but for now, I think I'm just gonna stick to my face. Adding another layer. I'm trying to smooth out some of the streaks with my sponge. Going with another layer. Less water this time so it's not as viscous, so I can get a bit more coverage. I'm gonna get under my arm too. Okay, and for a little bit more coverage and to kind of match my face a little bit more, I'm going to use this Sunset Makeup foundation. It is the shade White. I was about to put it on my hand, but I'm just gonna put it directly on the sponge. I'm actually gonna switch to a brush. Okay, taking some of that dark purple and the gray, we're gonna kind of add some life back to my chest. I'm gonna use a brush like this. And I'm going to actually start with some chest definition. And I'm gonna add some of the gray to kind of tone it down. Some white shadow. So here, setting powder to really define it, to really define our body language. Sorry, our body language. And I don't really think there's anything else I want to really define. Like, I don't want to define my collarbone, so I'm just going to barely tap into that purple and just kind of just shade my neck just so it has a little bit of definition. Just taking this all over, really. Also just kind of going over and getting that's patchy. Now we'll get my hands a little bit better, but I still need to put my wig on and my contacts in. I'm also going to use that same highlighter. I'm not going to do it on my collarbone, but I will do it on my shoulder, my body language. Alright, so now I'm going to finish off everything. I'm going to have my necklace, wig. So this is the finished look. I am so excited. I wish I was going to like a costume party or something. This gold crown that my husband helped me paint, and then even without the crown, this wig is just like perfect. I actually got it for a different costume or a different look, but it's actually the perfect Ursula wig, so that's that. I got the shell necklace. This is actually like a kid's toy that I got from Walmart that they came out with for the movie. It's supposed to light up, but I didn't check mine before I grabbed it, and I guess the batteries are dead. The chain, I guess, was originally gold, so I just painted over it. And I actually repainted this because it was like a little bit of a different kind of gold, so I repainted it. I got it a little dirty, but yeah, I think it came out really good. The contacts, I was originally going to go for the white iris contacts. I forgot to soak mine because you're supposed to soak them in like a specific solution for like 6 hours, and I didn't. Tried to clean them quickly, ended up ripping them, and then I remembered I have silver. I think this actually might be better because they have like that brightness effect of like a white contact, but it's just, there's just something about the silver, you know, it gives it a little something. I don't know, maybe I'm just trying to convince myself. That is day 2 of 31 days of Halloween. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I think this look just kind of lit a fire in me. We got the purple blue lights going on too. Oh, I also forgot to mention I have a black corset on. I changed out of my black top. I also did some fun reels with Poor Unfortunate Souls, which I am so excited about. I had so much fun. And yeah, that is it. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow.